So if you see that, you should absolutely remove it first. Alright. So this is, quite frankly, I don't remember where this came from, but it's the same type of material that we're going to be working with. It's copper that is, it's gold that is stuck to a circuit board by a thin copper layer. So we're going to put this stuff inside our pot here. Make sure it goes in there kind of loose because you want the acid to be able to contact all the surfaces. Alright, so we have our gold fingers inside here. We are going to be using muriatic acid. Definitely read the MSDS sheet on that, and before you use that, protection first. Want to make sure you're wearing some rubber gloves. Also want to make sure you're doing this in a very well ventilated area, preferably outdoors. I'm doing this inside to start, but I'm going to bring it right outside and let the first few hours work in. Again, we're going to use muriatic acid, 31.45%, and hydrogen peroxide. Now, when you're processing gold fingers, this solution can be used almost indefinitely if well taken care of. Specifically, if you make sure not to have any foreign metals in there besides copper. Yes, we're going to start off with the acid. You want to pour in just enough to cover. So in this case, we have 200 milliliters. And to that, you're going to want to add 100 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. The fumes from this will start to get pretty intense. So what you're going to want to do is stir that around a little bit. It's going to start to turn a nice emerald green color, and that means that it's dissolving the copper. Now the first few hours of this reaction are going to be the most prolific, so this is the time to move it outdoors. This has been sitting for about 3 hours now. I'm going to stir it up a little bit, and you can already start to see in there, no, it's kind of hard to see. You can already start to see in there that some of the foils are starting to separate and float around in the solution. So, alright, so here's the next morning. You can see that there's some foils floating around in the water. You can see some of the fingers have the foils are coming off. So that's a good sign. It's just working. I just add a little bit more peroxide to get it back to green. And we're going to leave it alone again for a little while. Alright, so we've got the acid mix in here. For the most part, most of the gold foils are off. Or for the sake of this video and just showing how it's done, I'm not going to wait until all the foils are off. Normally you would let it soak in there for, this is day 2, so probably by day 3 or 4, most of them will be off. Could take more time, could take less. Alright, so next what we need is a container, plastic or glass, funnel, and coffee filter. What you want to do with the filter is you want to lay it flat, fold it over again, right, and then open it up. Stick it in there. You want to spray it down with a little bit of water so that it sticks to the side. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try and pour off the solution without getting any gold in there if possible. Bottom there, you can see some foils that have detached. They're sitting on the bottom. Now this solution can be used fairly indefinitely. The way to kind of recharge it, if you want to get some of the copper out, is just stick like a stainless steel butter knife in there and let it set for a couple days. All of the copper in the solution will stick to it. Then you can pull it out, rinse it, and you got copper. Alright, so now that most of the solution is drained, you can see in there you may have some gold foils stuck to the side. That's quite alright. We'll get those out shortly. Alright, so now I'm going to take our used solution and pour it off here. I've got a jug of solution that's been used already. Alright, so now we've got this. I don't know if you can see at the bottom, some nice gold there. See that color shining at the bottom. Pour that in. Oh, try not to let that happen. I'm gonna pull out these fingers here. It works better with a pair of tweezers, but you're going to see like some of these pieces will still have a little bit of gold on them. You can just spray them off with a little water. It's important that you do this into a separate bucket so that you don't dilute your working formula too much. And I have a little container to put the clean fingers in. Now on some of these, all the gold may not be off. That's okay. Just spray off what you can and then stick them in for your next batch. Alright. So now that we've taken all of the fingerboards out, just going to dump the remaining solution through the filter. You can already see there's a nice bit of gold at the bottom there. Now keep in mind, these are gold foils. It's not 24 karat gold. It is going to be a mixed carat. It's going to be foils that are 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and all the way up. So this is not pure gold. You just need to keep that in mind. This is just the recovery process, not the refining process. The refining is a bit different. That's where you take out any impurities in there. Alright, now best practice, what you're going to want to do, you see how this water is a little bit blue? Yeah, that's because there's still copper in there. So what you want to do is you want to run this through, you want to run your foils through the muriatic acid again to help get rid of any other copper that might be on there. Alright, and then rinse it well with water to dilute any remaining acid that may be on it. Alright, I was just spraying all the gold foils off the sides of the filter paper here. Alright, so from that handful of fingerboards that we put in there, we come up with a little bit of gold. Take a look here. And there it is. And these are all your gold foils. Okay, so once you've rinsed all these, and the water comes out clear each time. Now you can just let them air dry, and then brush them to the middle. And